Hey guys, Custom Computing back here with another one. It's been a really long time since the last video and a lot has happened. I've been really busy. The shed is finished. We've got customers in there. We've got more coming hopefully, and really happy with how things turned out. It's running like clockwork and the design is perfect for the winter. We are gonna have to do a redesign for the thermals probably around April, but I've already accounted for all of that in my calculations and all that other stuff. So anyways, it's a long video today. Take a look at it. And if you are looking to host small ASICs, send me a DM and we might be able to take care of you. We will be looking at opening up a bigger hosting facility here soon. This is just for a proof of concept, getting the security, figuring things out. And then hopefully we'll be able to make a big splash this year with the bull run. Let's go. All right, this is going to be the final portion of our shed project. We're currently about to install a security camera floodlight outside, install the cameras on the inside, as well as fasten a new deadbolt here that's going to be hooked up into my Nest system so that this will be locked at all times. Going to be covering the windows with plasti dip, setting up the filtration system here in the window. So we're going to be removing the windows, putting in a plank of wood and installing these rectangular gable vents inside that portion there. That should be enough for the intake for this portion during the winter because it's really cold. We have the one exhaust fan over here, and we're going to start loading things in after this. This is the last part that we have to do before we get up and going and actually start our adventures of shed mining. Stay tuned, guys.
Sorry, man.
All right, so we've got the floodlight installed. Really cool. It's a Nest floodlight because that's my ecosystem. I'm using Nest for everything. I have a Nest cam in the front, have a Nest cam here out on the side now. So if there's any motion, those floodlights will turn on, and that's the lowest actually that they turn on. And we have the camera in here as well with my deco system, which is hooked up. And now we're just installing the security lock here, which is also a Nest product. So all my products are going to be connected through the deco, Wi-Fi, and hardwire, plus Nest systems. And yeah, it's coming along. We're gonna have to do some modifications to the door. It's not shutting properly, so once we get that done, we'll be able to install the padlock and start coloring the doors so that you can't see in. Everything is coming together, guys. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so we've got the floodlight in. We have our new Nest security. The doors, we had to actually refasten the entire door frame because it wasn't sturdy enough. We've got it all aligned now, and the lock is connected, works great. We've got the cameras set up in here, and we're working on building the filtering system here, which is going to be currently put into the window. So we're going to be blocking off the entire window except for two vents that are going to be open where I can close one of them or keep one of them open, but that's going to be the intake for the whole system here for the winter. In the summer, we're going to have to do some active intake, but that's not for now. So we're just finishing up the design for this here, where we're going to be putting in these gates, these filters, and fastening that to the window. So almost done. It's been a long day and we are exhausted, so stick around. All right, it's finally done. We are completely secured up. We've got the Nest floodlight installed over here. It's hardwired in up through the soffit there, and we've tested it at night. It's really bright and really clear. So the sensitivity is set to high, so if anything moves, that turns on. We finally got a lock on the door that can work, so that's also a Nest Yale lock. These all are connected together in my system that I have at home, which is excellent. We've got a camera as soon as you enter here that's also recording 24/7. We've got our Wi-Fi plugged in, and we've got all the plugs are finally done. We've got the small exhaust fan right now. That's all we're gonna need in this cold weather. Temporarily, we've got the network switch plugged in. Both of these are hardwired into my network room, which is in another video. I'll post it up here so you can take a look at how we got that in. All the power's run in here, and so that's perfect. As well as we just finished doing the intake. So we've got two 18-inch filters here that are going to be doing the intake for the winter, because it gets really cold here and we're only going to need to have that because it's going to be freezing in here. We've got, again, the Nest Connect, all that other stuff. We finished up our last wiring of the last 15 amp circuit here, because this was for a direct connect to the Nest Cam out over there in the corner. And so, yeah, fixed the door. There was a lot of issues with the door. We sturdied it up and made sure that it's not shifting anymore. It wasn't really sealed correctly. So now that's solid. The lock works perfectly. We're gonna be painting these windows with Plasti Dip. So we'll be spray painting those so that you can't see inside here. And then obviously I have a security lock over on my shed over there, but we're ready to go. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is literally installing a shelf here, one of those Husky shelves. It goes to about this line here. So it runs around here to there, and the exhaust is going to be coming out of that fan. And then, all right, we are nearing the finish line. We have done so much work in here, it's crazy. And somewhat the hardest parts are done, but the most complicated parts are still upon us. So we just got the shelf put in. The spacing is set so that here I can put Octominer X12s. They fit down here. Here I can put iPolos or whatever ASICs I need up here, desktops, whatever you need. And I've routed all of the power. As you can see, I can walk back here so I can work on the machines. I mounted all of the power strips to the actual shelf here, which is obviously mounted to the ground. So we got a 30 amp here that's mounted, a 30 amp here that's mounted, and then a 30 amp over there in the corner that's also mounted. That's going to be taking care of all the computers on the bottom here. We're just about to mount a 15 amp here so that we can populate that 20 amp circuit there, mount it into here, and then we're going to also have to mount a whole bunch of stuff into this closet here. So this is where things are actually going to take a little bit longer. So we're going to gut this closet. This is going to be the brains of the operation. We're going to have a computer installed in here. We're going to have a monitor installed in here. All the networking is going to come through this portion here. All the power is going to be coming through this portion here. And we're going to remove this socket because we're actually going to be using this this outlet here. So right now the hardest thing that I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get everything out. I've designed this in a way that the monitor will be installed inside here. So it's got to be a 14-inch or smaller monitor in here. I have a small Intel NUC that's also going to go in here. And then below is going to be a small foldable shelf that's just going to pull up, and I'll be able to have my keyboard and mouse that's going to be attached to the inside here. So we're going to have to do some cutting, some fabricating, but this is going to look completely different by the end of it. And this is pretty much the most important part moving forward, because this is going to be the brains of the entire operation. So all my access to all these computers and administration is going to be done inside this box here. So first things first, we got to get this gutted. I have to label all the power cables and everything, and then we're going to have to do custom lengths for the Ethernet, but that would be the last thing. So for now, let's get that ripped out and start mounting a couple more PDUs. So let's get to it. All right, we are at the final implementation. We've just installed a new 24 port switch here. So we mounted it to the back here, which is pretty solid. We ended up having to get a really short power cable because all of them are 6 feet or whatever, and it's just that the cables are out of control. So I have a really short one. I'm looking for a 90-degree one. That's this length, which is basically 1.5 feet. The rest of the stuff is mounted in here. So we've got shed 1 here, or shed 2, 1 there, and shed 1 here. These are separate direct runs into my networking switch in the house. And so what we've done is we filled this 16 port here, which is excellent. I do love this because it shows all the readouts of every port that you have plugged in on the front side, as opposed to here where I would have to get over top to see the readouts to see which ones are not working. So that is one thing. I wish I could get 2 of these. I had this for 3 years now, and you can't buy them. You can't find them anywhere. So I do love this. It is 16 port, and it's not quite, 24 ports. Ultimately, what I'm going to end up having is 24 port and a 24 port here. So right now what we've got to do is we have the full 16 set up, and we're running cables to the new servers down here, which there's 10 of them. And I'm using these thin network cables, which at first I didn't think were good, but when it comes to cable management through conduits and through like smaller holes, it really does help with the girth, because a regular network cable is quite thick, but once you get the head of these network cables through the hole, then it really doesn't take up a lot of capacity inside your actual conduit or whatever. So as long as you can get the Ethernet head through here, then the rest of the hole is not being taken up. And we're gonna have, upwards of 48 to maybe even more servers in here. So anyways, we're just running these cables now to all the servers, custom lengthed. And yeah, that takes a long time, but I am really happy with the installation here of the 24 port switch. And I'm happy with this because they both go to a managed switch. So each one of these ports is actually managed from my network. So each one of these ports are specifically, I can control shed 1 and shed 2, which are these 2 dumb switches here. So everything's being controlled from my central system. And yeah, it's starting to look good. I am so excited to turn this stuff on because it's starting to get cold and I need some heat in here. All right, I did say that I did like these, but if you're running, I'm only running 10 right now, and you have to have them all basically zip tied every kind of foot in order to make it rigid. And it's great when you're going into the hole, but getting that, you have to do basically flush. Every single cable has to be flush as you're pulling it through. So it's definitely a pain, but it saves so much space when you're going through small conduit holes. Once the head is through, then there's basically no filler here. So 10 Ethernet cables would not fit in this hole that I'm doing right now. So anyways, whatever, we're pretty much well done with drawing this. Now we got to bring them to the servers, and God forbid someone give me another 20 servers. Somebody give me another 20 servers. Seriously, I need another 20. All right, so in the video, we left off where I was designing this portion. Yes, we've installed the client stuff. We'll get into that later on in this video, but for now, this was a huge task to configure, set up, get it working the way I needed it to. We need to install a couple of, so you open it up here. We've got at the top, we've got a 16 port switch this is connected to my managed switch in the shed, in my networking room. This is connected directly to another port on my networking room, so the different subnets. We've got 16 ports here. We've got a 24 port that we just installed. We still got 17 ports available on here. If we need to replace this, we can replace this with another 24 ports. So we would have 48 ports in here just alone with just networking. This power strip, everything is being powered into the 20 amp circuit up there. So I know exactly how much is being used. All of this is being powered by that. And we've got a 14-inch screen here where as soon as you turn it on, you can use the mouse down. And so this is basically the system that I've got running here. We've got a couple of VMs that's just in beta phase. We've got the automated temperature control here. So once it hits 25 degrees Celsius, the fan kicks on to high, which is set to 8, and then it brings it back down to 24 degrees. So 24 degrees is perfect in here to keep it like that. We've got the Intel NUC that we upgraded, thermal pasted, and it's working great for this system. So all the customers can log into each of their individual IPs, and then they can manage what they have to do. So yeah, so this turned out fantastic. Everything is installed in here for networking. We got, like I said, we can add another 24, replace this with a 24 port, and this is a 24 port. I am getting a right angle cable because that annoys me, but that's OCD stuff. But everything else is working, and once we start adding more fans, we're just going to add another one of these down here, and we're going to add a couple more exhaust fans. So there'll be 3 more exhaust fans out back here. 1, 2, 3. So this whole wall will be exhaust, but we don't need that right now because it's freezing cold, and that fan will do the job, and it has been. So as you can see, it just kicked on to high, and it'll cool this room. You can already feel the air coming in, cools the room, and keeps it at a nice balmy 24 degrees in here. All right, we'll continue on with some of the stuff that I did to get these customers up and going. We did it, 2024. The shed is up and running, and all the customers are able to access their machines. It's really cold in here, so we need to fill all of this up over the next couple of months. So if you are looking for our early adopters entry rate with very low rates, we come and pick up your package from your doorstep, bring it over to our facility here. And if you have mini ASICs, jazz miners, GPUs that are gonna have to be in server cases, so if you have like octo miners or what have you, send them to us. We're gonna give you a low rate for our introductory fee. And yeah, you just gotta fill this whole thing up because it's cold, and we aren't even touching the surface of how much power we can use in here. Contact me on my YouTube page, and yeah, hopefully I can fill this up in the next month or 2. All right, content creators, people in the space, I need to fill these 2 windows up with your stickers for my sticker shed. We're getting a whole bunch of new clients coming in, and I need to have a good enough sticker shed so that all the content creators can be resembled here.